Remember, we have been telling you that American warplanes have been stepping up activity at a major U.S. airbase in Qatar, just 200 kilometers from Iran. U.S. fighter jets have increased operations at the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, which is a critical American military hub. According to Israeli media reports, several U.S. military aircraft, including KC-135 aerial refueling tankers and B-52 strategic bombers, were seen taking off from the base late Sunday night. Al Udeid is located southwest of Doha and hosts more than 10,000 American troops. It has one of the longest runways in the region and is capable of handling heavy bombers designed for long-range strike missions. The surge in American military activity comes alongside a stark warning from Washington. The message is clear. Washington believes the security situation inside Iran is rapidly deteriorating, while publicly the Trump administration continues to stress diplomacy, now, of course, that having changed. Earlier as well, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt had said that President Trump sees talks as the first option, but made it equally clear that military action remains very much on the table. She said the president is unafraid to use the lethal force and might of the United States military if he deems it necessary. Also adding pointedly that only Trump knows what he will do next. Now that ambiguity seems to be a deliberate move, because even as they talk about diplomacy, the pressure on Tehran has been intensifying. President Trump has announced a sweeping new policy, and that is a 25% tariff on any country which continues doing business with Iran. Washington's move directly targets Iran's key trading partners, including China, Turkey, UAE, and Iraq, and threatens to widen the crisis far beyond West Asia. Donald Trump described the order as final and conclusive, without spelling out exemptions or timelines. This escalation comes amid mass protests across Iran, among the most serious challenges the Islamic Republic has faced in years. Rights groups say that at least 648 people have been killed, including children, though some estimates suggest that the toll could be far higher. Thousands have reportedly been arrested as well. Now, Iran's leadership is not backing down. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that Tehran is ready should the U.S. choose to test military action, claiming that Iran is now more prepared for the strikes than it was during last year's brief war with Israel. He insists that Iran remains open to dialogue, but says that it is prepared for any eventuality. Araghchi has also said that Iran has obtained documents and evidence that link the unrest to America and Israel, accusing Mossad agents of directing terrorist acts.
Israeli media reports are rife with claims that Israel has designed and conducted operations in Iran. Mr. Mike Pompeo, who was Trump's CIA director, said on his X that Happy New Year to every Iranian in the streets, also to every Mossad agent walking beside them. This clearly shows that Mossad agents attempted to direct such terrorist acts.
On the same day, there were nationwide demonstrations in Iran condemning riots supported by foreign forces, with protesters reportedly opposing the interference by the United States and Israel. Now, analysts say that this is the most volatile moment that Iran has faced in decades. And that's what makes the current American posture so significant. The military buildup in Qatar, the evacuation warnings, the tariff chokehold, and the repeated refusal to rule out force. Together, they suggest a strategy that is built on maximum pressure, backed by credible military threat. At a time of heightened regional tensions and continuing cross-border threats, the Indian Army has sent out its clearest signal yet. India, it says, is ready, not for a short symbolic confrontation, but for a prolonged conflict, if forced upon it. And the message comes directly from the top. Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi has said that the armed forces are fully prepared for a long war with Pakistan, highlighting India's military posture is built for endurance, escalation, control, and decisive response.
Operation Sindoor was the best example of tri-service synergy under clear-cut political directive and full freedom to act or respond. In J&K, since 10th May, the situation along the Western Front and J&K remains sensitive but firmly under control. In 2025, 31 terrorists were eliminated, of which 65% were Pakistan origin, including the 3 perpetrators of the Pahalgam attack neutralized in Operation Mahadev.
The statement comes in the wake of Operation Sindoor, which is India's calibrated military response following the Pahalgam terror attack in April last year. General Dwivedi said that the operation, which is still ongoing, resets strategic assumptions, striking deep into terror infrastructure and expanding what he called the conventional military space without triggering nuclear escalation. According to the Army Chief, the operation was executed with precision, under clear political direction, and with unprecedented tri-service synergy. The Army Chief also laid out India's next major military priority, the creation of a dedicated rocket and missile force. General Dwivedi said that India needs such a force in order to match regional realities, pointing that both Pakistan and China have already established rocket forces. He said that rockets and missiles are now intertwined on the modern battlefield, with both capable of delivering strategic impact. The Army Chief confirmed that India has successfully tested the Pinaka system, which has a range of about 120 kilometers, and India has also signed contracts to extend that range to 150 kilometers, with future systems expected to reach 300 to 450 kilometers. The Army Chief also referred to India's advanced missile capabilities, including Pralay and BrahMos, reiterating India's shift towards deep precision strike deterrence. Remember, in May last year, following the Pahalgam terror attack, the Indian Army had successfully destroyed 7 out of the 9 terror targets in Pakistan and maintained full operational readiness for 88 hours, a period that the Army Chief said sent an unambiguous message to Pakistan. The Army Chief also dismissed Pakistan's nuclear rhetoric, saying there was no discussion of nuclear issues during military-to-military talks and that such threats were political posturing and not military reality. He emphasized that India has deliberately expanded its conventional war-fighting space, making it clear that terror attacks will no longer be shielded behind nuclear blackmail. On the ground, the Army Chief said that the situation in Jammu and Kashmir remains sensitive but firmly under control. In 2025 alone, 31 terrorists were eliminated in the region, most of them of Pakistani origin. Active local terrorists are now in single digits and new recruitment has fallen to near zero. General Dwivedi stressed that this does not mean any reduction in deployment. Pressure, he said, has been maintained across the line of control and will continue as long as Operation Sindoor remains ongoing. The Army Chief also outlined how India is preparing for a long-duration conflict, from rapid drone induction to new missile and rocket forces, from specialized infantry units to artillery-based unmanned systems. The focus, he said, is on sustainability, technology, and self-reliance. Every command, he noted, is now capable of manufacturing and operating thousands of drones, which is a significant shift in modern warfare preparedness. The message from the Army Chief is clear. India does not seek war, but it is no longer constrained by it. Any future misadventure, General Dwivedi warned, will be met with a calibrated, decisive and sustained response. For now, the military standoff holds, but India is prepared for the long haul. All right, shifting our focus now to India, where 2 suspected cases of the Nipah virus infection have been reported in West Bengal, prompting heightened surveillance and swift intervention by both the state and central governments. The union government has moved quickly deploying a national joint outbreak response team to assist the West Bengal authorities with containment, testing and public health preparedness. The team will work alongside state officials to prevent any further spread of the virus. Now, the alert follows preliminary screenings at AIIMS Kalyani that indicated the Nipah virus infection in 2 nurses who were employed at a private hospital in Barasat, which is located just 25 kilometers from the state capital, Kolkata. Both nurses are reportedly in a critical condition and they remain on ventilator support at the moment. In response, the West Bengal government has issued a statewide alert across all healthcare institutions. Hospitals have been instructed to strictly follow isolation protocols, strengthen infection control measures and remain on high readiness. Now, this development has revived concerns about the Nipah virus in the state, which previously witnessed outbreaks in Siliguri back in 2001 and the Noida district in 2007. According to health officials, the 2 infected nurses, both in their mid-20s, lived separately as paying guests. Investigators revealed that the female nurse attended a family wedding in the Nadia district earlier this month and later traveled to multiple locations, including Shanti Niketan. She fell ill soon after and was admitted to a medical college in South Bengal. The male nurse worked night shifts alongside her colleague at the hospital shortly before both developed symptoms. Both the nurses have reportedly developed severe lung infection and brain inflammation. In both patients, complications commonly associated with advanced Nipah infection. Authorities have now begun extensive contact tracing to identify and monitor anyone who may have been exposed. Remember, Nipah virus typically presents flu-like symptoms such as fever, muscle pain, sore throat, and breathing difficulty. In severe cases, the disease can cause respiratory failure, seizures, and encephalitis. The virus was first identified in Malaysia in 1999 and takes its name from a village where the initial outbreak occurred. There is currently no approved vaccine for the Nipah virus, and treatment focuses on isolation and intensive supportive care. West Bengal last recorded a Nipah outbreak back in 2007, while India's most recent case cluster surfaced in Kerala in August last year. Our next story is from Bangladesh. The violence against minorities is rising in the country. Yet another Hindu man has been killed in Bangladesh. A 28-year-old Hindu auto rickshaw driver, Samir Kumar Das, was allegedly brutally murdered in the Feni district, with assailants fleeing the scene with his vehicle. According to the police and local sources, he was beaten, then stabbed with a country-made weapon. His blood-soaked body was discovered around 2 a.m. local time. This is, remember, not an isolated incident. Samir Kumar Das is the 12th Hindu minority victim in the recent weeks in Bangladesh. In the last 2 weeks, multiple attacks on Hindus have been reported across Bangladesh. Last week, Mithun Sarkar fell victim to such an attack after he was chased by a mob. He jumped in a canal to escape, but unfortunately, he died by drowning. On the 31st of December last year, a 50-year-old Hindu man and a local medical shop owner, Khokon Das, while returning home, he was attacked. A few weeks back, 29-year-old Amrit Mondal was lynched by a mob. Just days earlier, 25-year-old Deepu Chandra Das was killed after false blasphemy allegations at his workplace. A few weeks ago, a 1971 war veteran, Jogesh Roy, and his wife were found dead with their throats slit. It is a clear, repeated and deadly pattern of targeted attacks on the Hindu minority in Bangladesh. And each time, the response from Dhaka is the same. Even though Yunus has condemned these attacks, he's refuted communal angles to them. He's often referred to them as personal disputes and stated political motive behind these attacks. The Human Rights Congress for Bangladesh Minorities has documented 73 blasphemy-related incidents across 32 districts of Bangladesh between January and November of 2025. The Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council reported 51 cases of communal violence in December last year alone. These numbers tell a far more damning story. So then why is Muhammad Yunus denying this systemic failure? Critics say the government has failed to protect minorities and has instead empowered radical groups, including the Jamaat-e-Islami, which was previously banned for terror links under the Sheikh Hasina government and will contest the upcoming elections. There's also growing alarm over the Yunus government's pro-Pakistan tilt. High-level political and military engagements with Pakistan and reports of ISI presence have raised fears that extremist elements are being emboldened, while Yunus looks the other way. With the situation remaining tense for minorities in Bangladesh, India has stepped in. New Delhi has questioned Bangladesh, demanded action, and warned that dismissing these killings as personal or political only embolden the perpetrators. Bangladesh is heading into the first election after the ouster of Sheikh Hasina, but democracy cannot stand on the blood of minorities.